April 11, 2023. Good day all. This is a message from Sierra Victor. We continue with our current program based on a book named Spy Secrets That Can Save Your Life by Jason Hansen as a baseline. The information, techniques, and skills is applicable and adapted to the high crime environment in South Africa. Before we continue to Chapter 2. Situational Awareness, Establishing a Baseline. We would like to add to our previous message about situational awareness a couple of pointers. Sierra Victor side note. Situational awareness is being vigilant about your surroundings and what happens around you. For this you need to know or try to determine if you are under someone's attention as a potential target. There are ways to test it. Any smooth surface or window can and will act as a mirror at the right angle. If you suspect that someone is following or watching you, use these surfaces to monitor their behavior or movement without them realizing it. When you suspect that someone is watching you, either yawn or look at the time on your wristwatch. 90% of the time they will do the same. We don't know why, but it happens most often. Use shadows and silhouettes as extra field of vision when walking in a parking area or at night when you exercise and go for a run or walk around the block. Listen. Use all your senses when walking at night. When you open your mouth halfway, your hearing will increase. Create spaces around you. Green space, amber space, and red space. People in your green space is normal. When they move into your amber space you need to start giving them extra attention by reading their body language etc. When they move into your red space, you know that they move towards you with intent. Ready yourself for a situation. These space distances will be different for different situations or environments, and to assist you with determining it, we continue now with how to establish a baseline. How do you determine whether a seemingly normal situation is starting to turn dangerous? How can you pick up subtle cues that something is off or that a situation isn't quite what it seems? Establishing a baseline is key to knowing whether a situation is potentially dangerous. Establishing a baseline requires that you note significant or subtle changes occurring in a particular place or in a person's behavior. What exactly is a baseline? To determine what is normal, whether it be for a particular person or a place, you need to take a baseline. A baseline is an informal measure that determines what is normal and what is not. A South African example would be the following: on your drive to work every morning, there are taxis driving people to work, kids are walking to school and there are street vendors at the traffic lights. One morning you drive to work, and there are no or few taxis, there are no kids or street vendors. That is out of the ordinary and not your normal baseline. This is usually an indication of a riot or some sort of civil unrest is planned for that day in that area. Another example would be something simple like dogs barking in your neighborhood. Dogs give different barks for different situations. Normal barking is when the owner arrives home and the dogs are excited. Abnormal barking sounds totally different and might indicate a burglar jumping fences etc. Record in your mind what is normal, and register when something out of the ordinary happens. Places have baselines too. The two examples mentioned above is a combination of abnormal behavior indicators and to a certain extent places as well. Would you know immediately upon arriving home if something was different? Would you be able to tell if a potentially dangerous event was occurring near your office? Establishing a baseline of your home, your immediate surroundings, and places you frequent can save your life. To stay safe, it's important to familiarize yourself with baselines. By establishing a baseline for your home and other places you frequent, you will be able to sense immediately when something isn't right. It's crucial to have a solid, pre-planned security routine in place. Make sure this is followed every time you leave the house. While the specifics of your security routine must reflect the needs of your family and home, be sure to include the following in your routine. Lock all doors. Close and lock all windows. Shut and lock the garage. Turn on or off exterior lighting. You should also be sure you and your family members are aware of other procedures. Do you shut all blinds or curtains before going out? Were lights left on? If your family discusses normal procedures before leaving the house, each member of your family will immediately be able to determine if the baseline is off. Remember, if you ever think someone is in your home, do not attempt to enter. The risk to your own safety is not worth it. Call the police or your security company. Human baselines. Behavior can fall anywhere on the spectrum from common to unusual to unacceptable. Human behavior is also influenced by a variety of other factors such as culture, values, and attitudes. What may be viewed as acceptable in one place may be unacceptable in another. It's crucial to be aware of what is and is not considered standard human behavior. A few things to consider are the following. Is a person dressed inappropriately for the weather? Wearing a winter coat even though it's warm? Is the person displaying odd gestures or mannerisms? Is the person somewhere he or she isn't supposed to be? Is the individual paying too close attention to you or someone else? Does the person appear to be following someone? Is the person looking around nervously? In other words, is his or her head on a swivel? Don't give criminals the opportunity. Criminals are often interviewed in prison, shown pictures of people on the street, and asked which ones they'd target. After reading this chapter, it should be no surprise that the victims the criminals chose were the ones operating in condition white, that is heads down, talking on the phone, not aware of their surroundings. We only have to look out on the street to know that 99% of people have their heads buried in their smartphones. Rarely do we see a person actively paying attention to his surroundings. The good news is that if you practice the tactics we just discussed, and you walk confidently in condition yellow with your head up and hands empty, there's little chance that you will become a criminal's next victim, because the criminal will choose an easier target like someone who's not paying attention. Thank you for listening or reading this message. We will continue in our next message on Spy Secrets, with Chapter 3. Escape and Evasion Kid. Please feel free to use and distribute as needed. Our messages are not by any means enticing you to a revolution of sorts, but rather to equip you with the necessary theoretical background in order to assist local armed forces or police in stabilizing a SHTF situation. Please contact any admin on any Sierra Victor group for our previous material or search for our channel on YouTube. We wish you well. Sierra Victor.